Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Midcard Mess Podcast. I am your host, not one, not two, but all three faces of Jamal, and this is your wrestling news. Alright, so peep it, man. We got CMLL. Finally, they got their big show coming March 21st, 2025. The big matches that are aligned right now is there is a CMLL Women's World Tag Team Championship tournament, which I will be getting into later because of what happened in CMLL. A mask eliminator tag match featuring Star Jr. and Zankaden Jr. versus El Viente and Esfinge. And then also there's a mask versus mask match to be determined. There's gonna eventually be a mask versus mask match, but that's probably gonna be like during an elimination tournament or whatever. Not. The show will also feature the tag titles that were vacated by Tessa Blanchard and Luvia after Blanchard left CMLL to join TNA. So like you already know the vibes when it comes to that. All right, so before I get into any of the CMLL news, I have to start getting into the AEW news, which AEW Dynamite happened on yesterday. So if I sound a little tired, I am. I went from wrestling training to work to security training, which was like an 8 hour thing. This is why the show's on so late. So I'm just trying to make sure that I gets it done because, you know, this is an everyday thing. Starting from January 1st, we're going to finish out the year every single day. All right, so let's talk AEW Dynamite for a second. Dynamite was slated to have Ricochet versus Swerve Strickland in the main event. Will Ospreay was going to face a member of the Don Callis family, which I thought it was going to be somebody completely different than what it was. And then you had Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Teskada also talking about the Don Callis family versus the Hounds of Hell, who are Buddy Matthews and Brody King. Queen Aminata versus Timeless Tony Storm. Hangman Adam Page and MJF set to appear, and also we'll hear from the Hurt Business as well. So the show opened up with Renee Paquette interviewing Jay White, and Jay White spoke about his brief alliance with Rated FTR, and when the Death Riders, represented by Pac, John Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, and Claudio Castagnoli appeared, they went to confront him, and then Cope, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler, Adam Copeland, they went to have like a little brawl, and then Maria Shafir yoinked Renee, lifting her up and taking her out the fucking, took her off the mat, just yeah, yeeted her off the fucking mat. But then they brawled into the arena. Only then freaking the Rated FTR got the upper hand, and then Adam Copeland got on the microphone and asked John Moxley to accept his challenge for a championship match at AEW Revolution. Basically, excuse me. John Moxley did his best Gene Wilder impression and told him he's got nothing. So Jay White challenged him to a no DQ tag match at Grand Slam, which White and Adam Copeland, I'm not calling him Cope, versus John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, he accepted. We already know on AEW Grand Slam, Buddy Matthews is going to get his one-on-one opportunity against Okada. He's been clamoring for it. He's going to get a one-on-one opportunity against Okada for the Continental Championship. So, Will Ospreay, Will Ospreay came out, and everybody knows that he was going to face a member of the Don Callis family. Don Callis came out. Obviously, people booed. They didn't give a shit about fucking Don Callis. They just wanted to know who he's going to face. Being that he already beat Brian Cage 2 weeks in a row. And I thought it was going to be Lance Archer. Konosuke Teskada and fucking Kyle Fletcher was already in a match. So it didn't really kind of make sense. So we were just like, okay, I'm thinking... excuse me. I'm thinking it's going to be fucking Lance Archer. But to everybody's chagrin, to everybody's surprise, it was Mark Davis to be revealed as Don Callis' hitman. But basically, fucking, they had a fucking banger of a match. And Mark Davis shows what he can do by himself. Not only is Mark Davis former member of, the United Empire alongside with Kyle Fletcher as Aussie Open, but it's just the fact that, Will Ospreay, how much heartbreak can Will Ospreay take at this point? I know he didn't have any joy in doing what he had to do, but in a tough game, very, very, very game, Mark Davis, Will Ospreay ended up winning the match, avoiding Don Callis interference and everything like that. He hit that hidden blade right to the back of my boy's skull, right to the front of my boy's skull. What am I talking about? But after the match, Will Ospreay introduces Kenny Omega, who tried to say that Davis wasn't an ally and he doesn't have to be a slave to Don Callis, as they hype up the match for AEW Grand Slam, because Takeshita and fucking Fletcher is gonna face Omega and Ospreay at freaking AEW Grand Slam in Australia. There was a promo where Ricochet and Swerve Strickland, they were just talking to each other and getting ready for their match, the main event tonight. The Hurt Syndicate then came out afterwards, as the crowd really hyped up the fact, like, we hurt people, hey, we hurt people, hey, we hurt people. You even see Westside Gunn in the crowd, because Westside Gunn helped make the song with him, MVP, and I forgot who else was on the track with him, but they made the song and everything. They go to the ring, and they said they are the AEW Tag Team Champions, but they're coming after all the gold. So if you're a champion in AEW, just watch out, because Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin are coming after all the gold. But then the return of the Gun Club, baby! Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn came up and they challenged the Hurt Syndicate for the AEW Tag Team Championships. And they said that next week that they wanted a championship opportunity. MVP gave them 1 week. Because he respects their dad, but he calls them ass boys, and then they embrace being the ass boys. So it is what it is. So we got the Gun Club, not the ass boys, but the Gun Club, versus the Hurt Syndicate. Yeah. Renee Paquette then interviews Harley Cameron, who's carrying the fucking Muppet that she has for Mercedes Moné, which is pure gold. I don't know what is in the water in Australia, but everybody is hitting on all cylinders. Sorry, Duke Hudson, I'm not trying to fucking knock on you, but you're the only one that didn't do anything worthwhile, except for Chase U. You won the NXT Tag Team Championships, but you just recently got released, but it's not over. You got time, you got things that you could do. But as I said, there must be something in the water in Australia, because everybody except Duke Hudson, and that came from Australia. We're talking Rhea Ripley, Buddy Matthews, freaking Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, Harley Cameron, Tony Storm. Like, everybody is just doing the damn thing, and it's crazy. I forgot to mention Bronson Reed. He's still recovering from his injury, but yeah, that's that. Yes. Harley Cameron has a Muppet of Mercedes Moné, and then the real Mercedes Moné then came up, and it's like, are you stupid? Are you dumb? Like, basically, she was just not jacking anything that Harley Cameron had to do, but she refused to give Harley Cameron a TBS title shot, because she challenged Harley to get a victory on Collision, which Harley Cameron did, and she's still refusing to, get the smoke. Eventually, Harley Cameron and Mercedes Moné is gonna get that fade, but it is. Who knows when that fucking's gonna be? Mercedes got all these belts and she doesn't defend not one of them, son. That shit go crazy. The last time was 2 weeks ago or a week ago? No, about 2 weeks ago, because last week. So yeah, she defended against Yuka Sakazaki. So it is what it is. Renee then interviews Hangman Adam Page, and he says going into Swerve's last room was a moment of weakness, and he doesn't want to talk about it again. He stands on his ground talking about retiring Christopher Daniels, which he did in a fucking brutal, fucking bloody way. And then Max Caster is off to the side trying to hurry him up and suggests that Hangman hospitalize Anthony Bowens or Billy Gunn, but Hangman says he would rather hospitalize him instead. So then he starts chasing him along the locker room and all that stuff like that. Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher have a fantastic match with Buddy Matthews and Brody King, both hard-hitting teams going at it. In the end of the day, Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita win the match. But man, these Hounds of Hell They've been losing lately, but you gotta let them cook a little bit. Like, they are going against people who have big momentum. I didn't see the Hounds of Hell winning this one, but if there was anybody else, I believe that they would have won. Then we go backstage to Samoa Joe and Hook looking for Christian Cage. They're done with the patriarchy and their bullshit. They find Nick Wayne and they find Kip Sabian instead and beat the fuck out of them, while Christian and Mother Wayne could be seen peeking at the attack going on, but they hide. And then Nick and Kip got that fucking ass bust. Like, Samoa Joe and Hook just bust their ass. That's all. MJF come out to talk shit about Jeff Jarrett, and he's making fun of Jeff Jarrett being old and all this stuff like that. But then Max Caster then comes out and he's running for his fucking life. And, MJF is like, yo, what the fuck? Get out of my ring. For those that don't know, MJF and Max Caster both come from the same wrestling school and Creative Pro Wrestling. And they both, very, very, very successful now in AEW and stuff like that. I mean, both of them are on TV, for crying out loud. Hangman then comes out and chases off Max Caster, but him and MJF stand in the middle of the ring and they looking at each other like, yo, what the fuck you doing? What the fuck you doing? Type shit. So they're gonna catch that fade sooner or later. Then he continues to chase Max Caster. MJF is still fucking kerfuffled and is like, get the fuck, why people keep interrupting me. And then as he says that, Dustin Rhodes came out and he then fucking is a part of the butt of MJF jokes and stuff like that. But once Max starts getting personal, he starts talking about his dad, and then I think what made it the last straw was when he's like, your little brother, you're living in the shadow of your dad, and it took you 37 years to get over it, but it's unfortunately for you because your little brother is now the shadow that you have cast over you, and you can't get past that. So then they start fighting, and then they get separated. He kicks Dustin in the nutsack and then freaking ends that fucking ordeal. But he walks off as looking strong and stuff like that. So next week it's going to be Dustin Rhodes versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman and JF. Tony Storm versus Queen Aminata. What you need to know here is that Mariah May is at ringside at commentary, and basically she's tired of Tony Storm's shit, and she's tired of people feeding into Tony Storm's shit. But guess what? We love that shit. All right. Timeless Tony Storm comes out portraying Mariah May, and Mariah was not amused at all. But let me tell you something. Tony Storm, dressed as Mariah May, was looking thicker than a Snicker, boy. Oh my goodness. Oh my Lord. God damn. Cause damn. Juice Robinson got all the juice because jeez. But she did a good job portraying Mariah May. She finished off the match using Mariah May's move called the Mayday or whatever not. Shout out to Queen Aminata. She did her thing, but she lost to Timeless Tony Storm, who has obviously momentum trying to get to AEW Grand Slam to take down Mariah May. But after the match, Mariah May just was flustered and upset and angry, and she just stormed off talking about, I'm Mariah May, and that's how that ended. Chris Jericho then came up on the New York Minute, which I freaking don't like at all, but at least it's entertaining. Jericho challenged Brian Keith, the Hurt Bandito, and if he's successful, he will receive a $200,000 bounty reward. Big Bill brags about hurting Will Hobbs, which directly leads to the return of Powerhouse as he and the Outrunners interrupt them and brawl with Jericho and took them niggas out. Dustin Rhodes again challenged MJF to a match next week on Dynamite, and then we have the main event in the evening. Swerve and Ricochet have a great match. The match ends with Swerve about to win the match, and he went for the diving double stomp, but Ricochet was trying to block, and I guess he hit him in the nuts, but it was not a intentional low blow, or we don't know if it was intentional or not. But then he proceeds to hit the spirit gun on freaking Swerve, and then won the match at the end. So At the end of the match, he freaking takes the jacket off of Prince Nana, and then freaking, that's it. He stole the embassy robe that Swerve Strickland wore, and the beef is continued. Let's just say Ricochet got the win, but like the beef is continued, and that is AEW. A nice little build for what they got going on. AEW Grand Slam is gonna happen. It's gonna happen after the All Star celebrity games and all that stuff like that. Any part of All Star Weekend. So yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Shout out to Bailey for being an All-Star Weekend too. I gotta watch that celebrity game just for big booty Bailey, big booty Bailey. I wasn't gonna watch, but now that Bailey is in the fucking basketball game, I gotta see how she hoop. I mean, I seen her on Instagram clips hooping for a little bit, but like, that was just like little small clips. I guess that's why she was training, I suppose. So yeah, so all right, so we going back to CMLL, man. The two title matches that is going to happen tomorrow is going to be I'm sorry. All right. So it's going to be the women's tag team championship eliminator match, which is like involving a bunch of different superstars here. So we have Las Vientas, which is Hera and Olympia, representing the Hera and freaking the goddess of Olympus and stuff like that, versus Kira and Scotty, versus Johnny Robbie and Viva Van, and Red Velvet and Lady Frost. So we got some Ring of Honor, we got some AEW, we got some Japan, and some CMLL flavor at the end of the day when it pertains to that. And you know that they're trying to, hype up that big old tournament that I aforementioned on the 21st of March. Then they have the 2025 Irma Gonzalez Cup match, which is going to feature Candela, Metallica, Amaploa, La Joracha, Reina Isis, Princesa, what's her fucking name? Shughit, Dark Sulia, and La Cantina to participate in that little cup match. Then the CMLL National Championship match, which is going to feature the champion Sanli versus India Sui. And then the CMLL World's Women's Championship match, which Zeus versus a very, very, very impressive Persephone. Like I said, I'm very high on Persephone because of the performance that she competed in at Wrestle Dynasty and at Wrestle Kingdom. So I was really impressed with her then, and I'm confident that she might end up winning the CMLL World's Women's Championship on tomorrow. So all right, that's gonna be it for me talking about the wrestling news. I mean, like as I aforementioned, Bailey's gonna be participating in the goddamn celebrity game. There's literally nothing else that I got going for you guys. I mean, Ring of Honor's tomorrow. No, it's not tomorrow. It's tonight. Right? Today's Thursday. Yes, it is. So, Ring of Honor's tonight. You got TNA Impact on tonight, so be on the lookout for that. I believe the super fight is going to happen sometime soon. I'll keep you guys posted on that. I don't know exactly when MLW is going to do that super fight. I'll have to just do my research, and I'll bring you the updated news for that tomorrow. This is day 4 of my wrestling training, and I've been, it hurts, but I feel a little bit better than I did last week. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not as sore. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still freaking sore, but yeah. All right, so that's it for me, guys. For all of those people that do listen to this, thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on SoundCloud. Yeah, man, just humbleness and gratitude, like I said, all the time when it comes to this Mid-Card Mess podcast. And if you are looking for a wrestling group to join that's, good and have like good vibes and everything like that, join the Mid-Card Mess. Go on Facebook, type in the Mid-Card Mess, and then, I'm pretty sure Maurice is with arms wide open, coming in and we could talk all about pro wrestling. Nobody is like, it's just a bunch of family in there. So, all right, guys, that's going to be it for me. I will see you guys on the next one. So, peace.